All right, let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie? Name it.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Well, I'm Pennywise the dancing now.
Oh, Lord on the beat!
God, don't do that.
But sometimes dead is better.
Hey everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. The horror movie we're talking about today is Smile, a film that comes out sometime next month. I'm very excited for it, and I want to do a little bit of an everything we know so far on it. Now, before we get into this, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more big videos on upcoming horror films just like this. Smile is an upcoming American psychological horror film written and directed by Parker Finn in his feature film debut. It's based off of his 2020 short film, Laura Hasn't Slept. That film premiered at South by Southwest and was a pretty big hit, apparently. The film stars Sosie Bacon, Jesse T. Usher, Kyle Gallner, Caitlin Stacy, Cal Penn, and Rob Morgan. Smile is going to premiere at Fantastic Fest on September 22nd of this year and is scheduled to be released in the United States on September 30th of 2022 by Paramount Pictures. The very simple synopsis of this movie reads, after witnessing a traumatic experience involving a patient, a doctor's own mind begins to turn on her. So like I said earlier, Parker Finn's short film was very successful at South by Southwest, and then in June of 2020, Paramount Pictures is like, hey, that was pretty cool. What if you do a whole feature-length version of that at some point? Then Paramount Players and Temple Hill Entertainment were just like, hey, let's just be co-producers, let's do this thing, let's get this show on the road, and here we go with the full-length version of it coming out this September. Another thing I want to note that's interesting to me is that the title of the full-length movie, like this movie that we're gonna see, was originally Something's Wrong with Rose, but then was once again retitled to simply just Smile. I do feel like Smile is a more interesting title, but I do kind of like this Something's Wrong with Rose. Why don't we name horror movies things like that are anymore, that are like super cryptic, but also have a question to it that's just like, well, what is wrong with Rose? I have to know. Now, I gotta be honest, the only reason I'm doing a whole video about this movie is because of how impressive this trailer is. It truly is something terrifying, even if the source material seems a little generic. Brad Miska of Bloody Disgusting kind of concurs with that, calling the footage pretty generic, but said it stood out due to its similarities to Ringu and The Ring. Shania Russell compared this film to movies such as The Ring, It Follows, and Truth or Dare, writing, it's all very familiar and probably not too hard to imagine how the movie will progress, but the scares will make or break the experience, and based on the trailer, Smile is more than promising. Now, I couldn't agree more with this. This does look a little generic, like your typical story where it's just like, oh, you have to do something within 7 days or you're gonna die. You have to figure out this crazy mystery or it's all over. The Bye Bye Man is oddly coming to mind too, but that wasn't a good movie, so don't compare it to that. But sometimes familiar can be good as long as you're not just like directly ripping something off. Like if this is just the same plot as like The Ring, It Follows, something coming after you in a couple of days or it's over, or maybe it's a demon sex monster just like in It Follows that's invisible to everybody else except for you. If it's something like that, I'm kind of not interested. But this seems like it's gonna be something special. You have people randomly smiling and what I'm assuming can only be killing people and possibly even like disfiguring their own body. Body horror might be a thing that's a part of this film if that last jump scare in that trailer says anything about it. A few things I want to note about the trailer though is that there's a few poignant shots that I picked out that I think are pretty interesting. This picture, for instance, shows a pain scale, and at the very top where it focuses on later on in the trailer, it says no pain next to a picture of a face smiling. So maybe the people who are being affected by this, Kyle Gallner's character tells us that there's been 20 cases so far, and maybe they just like let loose and lose control or something like that. Like it's like, hey, if you could cut off your nose and it wouldn't hurt, you'd probably do it, right? Right? There definitely has to be more to it than that, obviously, because like that just wouldn't be enough for me. I think if right now you told me I couldn't feel any pain, then I wouldn't just start cutting off my fingers. Once again, though, I do feel like this trailer, although generic, is a very impressive horror trailer for not giving us too much of the mystery. Movies like these tend to spoil themselves with their own marketing, which sucks a lot of the time. Kyle Gallner's character does say there have been 20 cases with only 19 fatalities. One person is still alive. I'm assuming that's Rob Morgan's character, who we see that Sosie Bacon's Rose character goes to visit in prison, apparently. So maybe he's getting blamed for all of these things wrongfully. I don't know. Two more things I want to talk about from the trailer is this kid's birthday party scene, which looks like it's going to end disastrously bloody. I can't wait to see this, but I have so many questions from the trailer. We see our character Rose, like the main character, and she's like walking around at this party and she looks horrified, but you can see people in the background acting normally. So is everyone at this party affected by the smile virus? I have so many questions and it's gonna be hard to wait until September 30th, I gotta tell you. I also cannot find this short film that this movie was based off of to have like any kind of clues of what I'm getting with this movie. But hey, I did find the trailer, and it's literally just the main girl breathing. So you're not missing much with that little teaser trailer thing. Then there's also this ending jump scare, which is the thing that had me sold on this film. I'm like, even if this sucks, I know the jump scares are gonna be good if you're putting this in the trailer. I'm really hoping body horror is incorporated with this movie. I think it would be really cool to see people who are just like still alive, breaking their own bones, snapping their own necks so that they can just like do a jump scare or something. That would be really cool to see in this movie, I think. There can never be too much body horror, at least for me. The biggest thing to focus on here though is that this movie could definitely go one way or the other. It could be great, or it could just feel like something that we've already seen before, which is something I'm definitely concerned about with this movie. But sometimes you could use that familiarity edge to your advantage by doing something different with a similar premise. So yes, from the trailer, we're already comparing this thing to movies such as like The Empty Man, The Ring, It Follows. But if it does something different and doesn't follow a similar plotline to any of those films, this could be something special and original. I mean, those scares in that trailer were pretty damn good, and that was a trailer, dude. So what does this movie look like? Thank you guys so much for watching this new video all about Smile and everything we know about the film so far. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content in the future. Check out my second channel, Movie Smoothie, by clicking on the link in the description below. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.